Hello, everyone. Welcome to a chat episode, one that we have not done in a while. I have bite marks on my face because my son is a heel.
Holy shit! Did he go heel on you?
Look at this shit.
He heel turned on you.
Look at this. All right. So this is because I just took a because I have psoriasis and I
Yeah,
haven't
I was.
moisturized yet.
I don't want to
But
be
that
rude.
is that is
Hang on.
100%.
No, no,
That is a fucking bite
that's
mark from a
psoriasis.
child.
That's
No,
psoriasis. That's
This is
psoriasis.
from this is
Don't
psoriasis
blame
right there.
Dylan.
That is a
Dylan.
bite mark
Dylan.
because so my
I'm-
son, in
Dylan,
his
I'm
infinite
trying-
wisdom, has two
Dylan.
finishing moves. He has a headbutt to the solar plexus like Harley Race. He
The
does
classic.
not kill his family.
I choose.
And
it
then
to
he
be
also
Chris
sticks his
Benoit.
fucking hands down your fucking throat like mandible claw. Harley Race and Mankind.
He's unstoppable. Here's what I would like to say. Even though you were very kind to edit something out because I'm exhausted because my insomnia is in full swing, I'm going to say this. I don't think your son bit your face. I think that you just are blaming.
This is all psoriasis.
Okay, can
This
you
is
get
all when
closer?
you get out of
Get
the-
closer to the camera. Get close. I want to examine. Get slightly closer. Okay. All right. Now, as we get closer, viewer, you can hit us up on thewrestlerreview at gmail.com.
Sleep in my eyes, don't I?
Oh, we didn't notice until now, you little sleepy boy. Oh, make a wish. There it is. Okay. Much like the wrestlers of your forehead really tells a story. Here's what your forehead says. It says your son knows how to bite, and also you like wheat, even though that encourages the immune. What is psoriasis again? It's an immune overreaction.
It's an autoimmune. Yeah.
Disorder,
So it's
yeah.
like. So here's. Do you guys want to know a boring history of psoriasis?
I do.
Apparently,
Go ahead.
prepare to be bored. Prepare to be like unsubscribe to Patreon. Apparently, psoriasis was attributed to a small village in England where the Black Plague like didn't kill anyone because they all just were like their immune system went fuck this fucking thing. So basically, if I bumped my knee on the side of a bed, like a corner, and I cut myself, and now my knee is covered in this psoriasis thing because now everything is now a perceived everything
Hilarious.
to do with my body is perceived as this is an attack on us and we will overreact. So basically my body, someone walks with an envelope and tries to put it in the mail and my body kills them and leaves their head on the lawn and says no more mail.
You know what I like? I like your body and my spirit react to the same. Is this an attack? And it's like, no, it's just someone just lightly grazed you. I feel attacked. Yeah, that's how it feels.
The defensive body, baby. I like it. I'll never
Yeah.
die except for I was supposed to get COVID really easily and I didn't. So out alpha'd COVID too.
I mean, here's the thing with COVID when you are an alpha is I chose to get it.
I was thinking about how funny it was.
I saw that everyone around Christmas was like, I'm getting COVID. I'm like, I'm going to show these guys how to get COVID at Christmas. I got COVID. And then you know what I did? Do you want to know what I did, Dylan?
Cucked it.
I cucked it. I cucked COVID. I fucked COVID's wife,
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Fauci. And then I made a nice dinner.
That is true. If you fuck Anthony Fauci, you will not get COVID-19.
That is
Those
true.
Are the rules. I heard
That was-
that on Sean Hannity, and it is true.
I mean, if you think you have clearly had a child in the last year. If you think that Sean Hannity is relevant to the conversation anymore when it comes to COVID-19 denial,
I
he
know
is
he
just
is
a
not-
man that vapes, my friend. That's
just
all he
wanted
is.
to use someone other than the holy trinity of people who are always referenced on podcasts. I was thinking
I
about
completely agree.
how
We're
I think
going.
we should have like The Onion does. Like The Onion has, or they used to have a thing where it was like, I forget what the other three were, and it was like 2009, but you were not allowed to pitch any articles. Remember when it was like every joke was either Chuck Norris or ninjas?
Of course. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
So it was like you were not allowed to pitch anything with Chuck Norris or ninjas, and I think we should have the same rule about Joe Rogan,
I completely agree. Here's what I would
Jordan
like to also
Peterson,
say. Great.
like anyone in that universe.
I'm done. I completely agree. Here's
I'd
what
much
I
rather
am.
talk about like I'd rather watch all the Marvel movies and just talk about that.
Here's what I would want to talk about in wrestling. Here's what I want to talk about within
Mm-hmm.
wrestling. Chris Jericho's niece was getting bullied, and the school may have been
Okay.
doing something about it, may not have been doing something about it. Do you want to know what Chris Jericho did? There was a video. There's a video of it.
6th.
This is the thing: is I'm like, Chris Jericho, if you want to help your niece, put on that spiky leather jacket and go to the school and attack kids. Instead, what he did, oh, this is fun.
Wait a minute. Chris Jericho's niece is getting bullied. Who else? Oh, sick. Now that John's out of the video, you can see this fucking. I don't have an Olympic bar. I have one that weighs. It's a long one that weighs 18 pounds. Not an Olympic bar. But one thing we were to talk about is Stephanie McMahon. Obviously, she is out of WWE. We were taking a leave of absence. Man, WWE truly is like shitty Succession. But one thing I really wanted to talk about is I think that the days of a champion being the most popular character and then you give them the title and then that character is static are done. I think that much like old Ring of Honor, which as a man who's both balding and still has a skin disorder, of fucking course, I'm going to talk about Ring of Honor in the mid 2000s to the early 2010s. But much like old Ring of Honor, you kind of have to have the champion change something about themselves as they evolve. So I was just talking to the people about how I think that champions aren't the best character anymore. It's more the best wrestler, and I think that the champion's character needs to evolve with the title.
Can I explain something to you?
Explain
I think that you're completely correct, and I think that is a huge mistake on AEW's part in particular, because basically Kenny Omega, we've been told for years, is the best wrestler. So then when he lost the title, it's like, wait, is Adam Page going to be the best wrestler? And it's like, yeah, he's really good. But like Adam, like it's just this weird, I never bought the build of Adam Page becoming the champion. I never bought him as champion. And now I feel like they're going to do the coronation at Double or Nothing of CM Punk. And yeah, like it's just a very odd turn for AEW right now. And I completely agree with you, is that they need to do something about the champion's perspective. And I think that part of it is, this sounds really crazy, they're really small wrestlers than they used to be. And that belt looks really big on them. Like the belt looks out of place. Like it's just weird, their presentation of a world champion.
Such a great point.
Yeah, like it just doesn't look, they don't look prestigious. They like their world champion always looks like it's the TV champion. Like, and ladies and gentlemen,
the Eagle Stelt.
Yeah, like it's just it's missing something. This is my big problem with the current wrestling product, is like the WWE seems okay, it's more so what it's always been. Where'd Dylan go? AEW, and maybe I'm crazy, and please sound off in the comment section by that tweet at me. If you disagree, but it just doesn't seem like AEW, and there's a lot good going on. Let's be honest, boys and girls, with AEW. I want to hate it. I want to get in with the camp of Cornette.
So when I left off, because goddamn it, we're both having some Wi-Fi issues today.
That's right.
When I left off, you were talking about how the belt was too big and the wrestlers were too small.
It
looks
all
like
part
a parody, though. It's like the WCW
does.
old
Yes!
title. The WCW old title looked dope on Goldberg. You want to know why? Goldberg was 6'3", 300 pounds. Like, if you're going to have dudes who are small, that's fine. Get a winged eagle.
I agree. But here's the weird thing is,
the TNT title looks way better than the fucking...
I completely agree. It's also... Adam Page followed a champion who for a year was draped in gold and was walking around with like, say what you want about that Kenny Omega run. I hated how it started, but I love by the time we got to Double or Nothing this time last year. Dylan, do you remember? It was awesome. Kenny Omega had mutton chops. His in-ring introduction took 11 minutes and always ended with North Carolina. It was like, this is the modern day version of a heel. He's walking out in stupid Zelda-inspired attire like Cody Rhodes, and he just has a weird face. Like, I don't like Kenny Omega. I find him annoying as a human being to look at. I loved hating him. I did not, as did a lot of wrestling fans, really get into Ring of Honor and the Bullet Club. So it's this difference of Kenny Omega was told to all of wrestling, this motherfucker can fucking go, baby. And Adam Page is like, and this is the guy that'll beat him eventually. And they never were like, and here's why he will be that guy. Do you understand, Dylan? Do you understand my frustration?
Yeah, it was just kind of like he's not friends with them because he's kind of a cowboy.
That's exactly it. Do you want to know why he's not their friend? Because he's a cowboy. He also,
Pretty
can I
much.
just
He's
say
like, it's
this
a
about
cowboy
wrestling?
with no accent, and then they did that weird promo where he's like, "Well, I grew up on a farm," and it's like, you can just be a cowboy. I
Well,
don't care.
that just means you're kind of poor and kind of shitty, man.
Just means you might be racist.
Yeah. Like I'm not like I listen. Lord knows I love a farmer. I like jams. I like a nice bearded man with a gut. But
Although it is, and the weird thing is, this is maybe small-minded, especially since I'm from the goddamn north, but it is bizarre that you have this like AEW, which
hang the fuck on. Just because you grew up on a farm doesn't mean there's any cows. See, it could have been a chicken farm exclusively. Chicken man shit. Chicken man shit. Chicken man shit.
what, Hangman?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but he's a cowboy. So the opposite of a cowboy is a
Oh
chicken man.
yeah, yeah. He's just some guy who's like, yeah, I feed the chickens.
Yeah. By the way, my family had a farm, and we didn't grow shit. My great aunt and her husband. I never got the story where how this happened. Just bought a farm between Montreal and Ottawa in Canada.
There's a lot of land up here. There is a lot of land.
lot of land. They bought that. They were the first people. They commuted to Montreal.
This is the
from
thing
there.
where I don't
Still
understand.
silly.
This is the thing, and maybe this makes me a conservative, but it's kind of like when everyone's like, "There's no affordable housing in Toronto." It's like, well, go to fucking Sudbury and get $50,000 house.
I want you to look at me right now. Let me tell you, this is why we are friends and have been able to run this truly ramshackle bad business for. We are entering, ladies and gentlemen. We're in year 7
Because
of
we
this.
are goddamn.
We know
look
what
at
we
this.
are. Know what
at
we
us.
are. We are old school liberals. That's right. Like, yeah, baby.
If you're white, figure it out. If you're not, we respect your views.
Yeah. No,
but if
that
you're
is-
white, you
I
got
got
no
news for you.
excuses.
I got news that it's not an old school. Old school liberal is like, let me tell you who I don't like. Everybody
Cornette.
that isn't me. That's right.
So you just say you don't like anyone about you doxed. Anyway, I'm gonna start
Yeah.
doxing people. Anyway,
Oh no. Oh, Dylan, bad news. I already doxed you.
Mm.
Can we start threatening people with doxings? Here's the following people I'm going to dox. Adam Page's horse. Where are you, Pistol? You were at the Stadium Stampede. So
You
Adam,
like that Adam Page as a cowboy. You are right.
I
didn't
don't
really
like it.
pay attention to that. Also, AEW is not a traditional wrestling company in that they have 95 stories coming on at the exact same time, and you just kind of pick your favorite. And like, they never are like, which is a smart idea, but they're never like,
No, it's
Adam
not.
Page is the next dude.
No,
Fuck
no,
you,
no,
fuck
no,
you, fuck
no.
you. But the WWE will do that and be like, Roman Reigns is our dude. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. So it's kind of like when Adam Page is facing Adam Cole, and
you're
it has
missing
to
a
go on
point.
last.
You're missing a fucking point. You're missing a point, which is the other way of looking at it is no one is special. Everyone is just a wrestler. And that is the worst thing to do in show business ever is you need to have more than the brand. You need to have that guy. Vince McMahon, if he could get away with this, the wrestlers wouldn't have names. Like it would just be like they would just go into the ring while someone sells you a t-shirt in your own home. But he is smart enough to know you have to have some core elements to build around, which is why, by the way, Brock Lesnar is entering how many, like his 11th year of making so much money for just being dressed like a guy who shows up at a BLM rally with a lot of guns to be like, I'm guarding them. Who's them? You're like, don't ask. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Lyle
Also-
Rittenhouse.
Exactly. Also, I do feel like we equate Brock Lesnar too much to the right wing when I also think we need to equate him to what he also very much is if this was the 90s, just a guy who listens to country music in Canada. This is a very specific
Serious?
person that is definitely who Brock Lesnar is, which is they live not in a small town or a big city, but what Canada has a shitload of, very small cities. He's got a truck. He's got that haircut. He's got a job that doesn't make any sense for him to have the amount of property that he has. And then you realize, oh, nothing costs anything here. You can be in shipping, receiving at the Mountain Equipment Co-op and have a 3-bedroom detached.
Listen, we talk a lot of trash about Brock Lesnar being a small-minded man, and of course the fact that he basically just fucking did a Attitude Era angle to get Sable back. But
Yeah. That's right.
He just Dean Malenko'd and leaded, and then it worked out because he's Brock Lesnar. But he does live in Canada, and by virtue of that, that means he gives like half of his money when he could easily live in the States still and be taxed way more favorably.
Well, hang on. Here's the thing, though.
Like
You
Brock
can
Lesnar's like the only wrestler that doesn't live in Florida. Let's
look at
get that.
or Chicago.
Or Chicago.
Here are the places wrestlers live. I figured out: Arizona, Florida. One guy lives in Chicago. One guy lives somewhere in Saskatchewan. Like, bear in mind where Brock Lesnar lives. Do not try and find because here's the thing: Brock Lesnar is the least scary guy who lives in that community. Like, because you don't know what Brock Lesnar has to do? Get on an airplane. Here's who you don't want to see. Why are all these people from southern Saskatchewan just able to communicate with a look? Oh, because they are from the hills, my friend, and they've got hill people magic.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar wouldn't stand out. It'd just be that other guy wearing flannel who's a pussy.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar would stand out as the guy they're all making fun of. Oh, you have to leave town to have a job? Do you know what I do? People that drive through, I kill them and I take their money. That's my job.
Oh, you don't wear sleeves? That's because your fucking arms are too fucking stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they keep asking. They saw Brock Lesnar make a healthy decision with food, and they now consider him an 8-year-old girl.
I saw him have a salad once, so we call him Pussy. It's a good nickname because he's a pussy.
That guy Lesnar just ate a carrot at a barbecue. He's marrying my son when he turns of age. I'm talking about Brock. Because Brock
Lesber is what we call him because he's a lesbo.
Boy.
You can use that.
Hey-o.
Anyway.
Okay, but back to AEW and Double or Nothing.
Title's too big.
The title is physically too big. Do not, whatever they do, they should not put this title on CM Punk. Because I think they're going to.
Okay. I like that this one is the first title defense Adam Page, and even match that Adam Page has had involving the title, that there's some doubt. Because we knew he was going to beat Kenny Omega. You knew he was going to beat Adam Cole. You knew he was going to beat Bryan Danielson. But, like...
I wouldn't have, I got to tell you, I had some doubt with the hour-long Bryan Danielson match. A part of me thought, because even then I was like, Adam Page is not getting the reaction that a lot of people... Like, Adam Page is not even
the Ronnie
getting
Garvin thing. I said that before, but it's like Ronnie Garvin, where it's like everyone wanted Ronnie Garvin.
Oh, great point.
He finally beats Ric Flair, and then everyone's like, oh, shit. All right.
What I would also say is, you're 100% correct. He's also, I would even go at figure, which is he's the Big Show champion. Do you remember when the Big Show won the belt at that Survivor Series when they hit Austin with a car?
No, but continue.
It did happen. And I watched it live, and I remember everyone in the room, like when the Big Show, like we all loved the Big Show, but it's like, oh, he didn't need that, actually. I don't, like, it's just kind of like, I don't need this from him.
Yeah, I think Adam Page is definitely a guy who needs that title, especially for his super baby face story. But getting to your first point, I do think the title is very big. But getting to my point that I was saying when earlier, I think it's a good thing that Adam Page kind of changes character, because they are doing a babyface storyline. I think they're doing it very, very well. But I wouldn't like them to see them shake hands. The one thing I really liked about AEW and the way they handled it was the Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk storyline, where it's like, yeah, they're baby faces, but they're not going to do the, hey, we get along now. It's like, no, Eddie Kingston thinks CM Punk's a fucking phony, and and he said nobody wants you here. You're a piece of shit. And CM Punk hates Eddie Kingston for some reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the best thing about Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston can draw on all these real things that is a reason why he hates, and the heel's like, yeah, well, you shouldn't be here. You're tubbier than me.
Yeah.
And Eddie Kingston's like, no one wants you in the locker room? The only reason you're fucking here is because Tony Khan was a fan of yours when he was a fucking kid, and he's a goddamn piece of shit billionaire. And then CM Punk's like, oh, yeah, you have a gunt.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, you look like you work at the
my
airport. My dad does work at the airport, and guess what? Next time you fly into LaGuardia, good luck finding your bags.
You look like you work at the airport. You look like a dishwasher. None of us look good. Let's get over that part, first of all.
Like, the only people here that actually look like athletes are the Good Brothers, and that's because I think one of them, they both just look like guys who go to strip clubs to talk about how much they bench, so I think they just need to do that so they can be able to get in for free. Like,
Powerhouse Hobbs is dope, but they'll never push him because
Tony Khan hates black people. Oh, by the way,
I don't think he hates black people. I think I think
Go ahead, because
I think it's a
I
weird
feel like
thing.
I feel like this is the big unsaid thing. Is like there is a weird.
His treatment of black people is really weird because what happened? Swerve Strickland, sorry, comes in.
Who's
Immediately
Swerve
just tags
Scott?
with Hits was his name in NXT.
Mm.
Immediately starts tagging with Keith Lee just because they're like, you're both black, go for it. Team Taz is around. Now Taz is basically a babyface and is just like his son's hype man and is completely out of Team Taz. And Team Taz is just Starks and Hobbs. So they're like, all right, we have like 4 black wrestlers. Let's make them feud with each other.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And then Scorpio Sky, who now twice has had this real opportunity where the crowd has really gotten behind him. And they're like, nah, fuck it, he's a heel.
I mean, as well with, and I'll never understand why, like, why they thought they should do this, and then why drop it.
And Scorpio Sky is like looks like a wrestler. I know
Yeah,
that.
I got
that's
news
like
for
a
you.
thing that AEW doesn't care about, but like he's got the fucking traps
agree.
of Tom Hardy from Warrior. Go for it.
But it's all no. I agree with everything you're saying. But the thing with SoCal Uncensored, SCU, when they broke them up, when the fucking Elite broke them up last year, they very briefly did the Frankie Kazarian Elite Hunter thing, like twice. Like I don't know where, and
Which
then
is
they just.
a great angle
And
because no one
where-
cares about Hair Plugs Kazarian.
But here's all the thing is the reason why no one cares about Hairplug Kazarian is every time they had him do it, it was always like off camera, off kilter. Like I'm particularly talking about Double or Nothing. I'm being hyperbolic and saying all the time, but I remember if this is your biggest stage, Looky Lou wrestling fans will watch this pay-per-view. Like as much as you want to say it's other things, this is very much considered their WrestleMania. Big Show was their first pay-per-view. And they didn't give him a big like give some if you're going to have 90 storylines, great. I like that. That's a really easy make sure that everything has a story behind it. But you got to give it a second to can you give it a second?
I think that they were and are in a position where it's like they're going to let a lot of talent go because they do have too many people. And what a really fun thing to do would be just do a draft of AEW. We could just do like a 20-person draft and see who we would keep and who we would take because I would. There's a lot of AEW dudes like NWA Power, which I really loved before.
Yeah. We all love pre-pandemic NWA Power,
but they took a lot of those guys. Like Eddie
yes, they
Kingston,
really did.
They took Ricky Starks, and it's like those are your dudes because those are fresh faces, not like the thing about AEW is that they've kind of turned into NXT, which a lot of those guys are dope, but it's like the same thing as TNA
I don't
where you
think
need
that's
to.
fair. I don't think that they're
Okay.
I don't think it's NXT. I think what it is it's basically they just became it's if WCW was now, how would you do WCW? This is the alternative to WWE. This is the thing that isn't Vince McMahon's hard body show. You know what I mean? It's just that like can we please like I know it's not fucking Generico versus Steen at the Hammerstein Ballroom, but it's the thing with the reason why ECW works so well, especially in its most iconic period, is it was everything. It was blood and guts, and then fucking guys with no bodies just having the craziest matches ever, and then a muscle guy just choke slamming something. Like ECW was able to market the gore, yeah, but it was the variety. The problem we have is AEW and WWE do about a half and a half. And all they need is one of those companies needs to go, oh, if we just do what they do and what we do, we beat them.
Yeah, I would love it if some company just came in because AEW is like a pretty fun thing where they had like okay, we can like legit build this company from scratch and take a year to.
And let me tell you why they've been able to do that.
Why?
Because Dark is the most engaging television program on. I've watched it this week after what has been truly been a hell time, and it's so relaxing. They walk to the ring, the wrestler does their finishing move.
Go on your phone.
Go on your phone. What? Oh, all right. Also, where's Big Show? I thought the Big Show was on that show.
There's Dark and Elevation. Dark and Elevation And the thing is, here's what I don't like about Big Show. I think Mark Henry's good. I don't think Mark Henry's very confident as a commentator, but he just does the thing where he commentates the matches dryly, and Big Show's like, I gotta be funny, and it's like,
Please don't.
come on, man, get me Mike Tenay. Someone get me Mike Tenay.
Oh my God! Where's Mike Tenay, Dylan?
Where is Mike Tenay?
Okay, attention, come monkeys. Get us a figure. We have Patreon money. How much to get Mike Tenay to be the first guest on the Wrestler Review?
He's not the first. Oh, I guess the third one, yeah, because we've had replacement hosts, but not guests. All right, I want to talk about this first. This other thing. What do you think makes a face in 2022? Like, how do you make a baby face in 2022?
You have to have a podcast called the Wrestler Review. Ooh, we're the faces.
But
you have
Hangman
to
Page
call
we
me baby.
mentioned.
Yeah. Okay. Here, let me explain to you how you become a baby face in 2022. The fans decide. There's no logic to it. Danhausen 6 months ago, people would have been like, "This is fucking shit." Now, like, everyone likes Danhausen. Everyone does.
I think he's just he was really good at Twitter, so he got himself a job.
I got news for you. I can't look away. I have watched him walking to the ring. So fun. His hands like this, over 300 pounds. Very nice. Very evil. That's how the announcer says it, with a little emphasis on the E, but no V. Dylan, what a mystery. Because it'd be evil. They go, evil.
I think AEW is also like the problem with television in 2022, where you introduce it and like a lot of people know who Danhausen is, but I don't fucking know who he is, and then it's like you kind of
that's a very good point. I know
and then the audience who knows who he is going to be pissed if you introduce him again, and the audience who doesn't know who he is feels like they're left out, and they're like, yeah, just fucking catch up.
Yeah, it's basic. It's almost like everyone's had a really bad time for 2 years, so they just want what they want, and they want no explanation as to why things are happening. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, but luckily that's not what.
It's also niches, right? Like, you can be
also
actually famous for 7 million. Like, there's a dude who's doing comedy in Toronto who's actually famous on TikTok. He has 7 million followers. He can totally walk down the street and no one knows who the fuck he is. Like, he has 7 million followers.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Che Durena.
Sure.
Statistically, some of you guys follow him. Legit.
Yeah.
He just does, and he's honestly exactly the type of humor. He just fucking says gross shit. Anyway, very funny dude. But he has 7 million followers. But, like, you know what I mean?
But
so
it's
people
also
just don't fucking know who people are now.
But it's so interesting because it's also the currency of that has changed so much. Like 7 million followers on that platform, because it's like it was talked about so much.
It means a tenth.
Yeah.
It means a tenth. So it's like 700,000 on any other platform. I've figured out also, but just to put this in perspective, this guy who I saw yesterday getting hammered with some Aussie dude in a wheelchair who hurt his leg earlier in the night because they got so hammered that day has more followers than Megan Thee Stallion.
The best.
But it's like that's entertainment now. Like,
but it isn't. It isn't. It's a perception. It's the perception is he has more followers than Megan Thee Stallion. Let's see him compete with selling a tour versus like it's one of those things where if one more person like here's the other thing that no one is talking about. All social media is heading towards a subscriber base at a certain point. Like, but read between the fucking lines. That's what Elon Musk's eventual plan is how he'll get around any of the violations and legal problems he'll get into by making Twitter a total free speech platform, which is actually why Twitter enforces those rules. They don't give a fuck about anything else because they're a big business. Like it's the same thing that Vince McMahon said the N-word on pay-per-views to get himself over as a heel until society was like, no, Vince. And then he was
said it
like,
once, and it was a joke, not a heel thing.
I thought it was because he was a heel. Like it was like the thing is that's like Vince McMahon was
he just
crazy.
Kind of said it because he's like, I'm Vince McMahon.
Oh man, I've been giving Vince McMahon more benefit. I thought he was like super crazy heel. Vince McMahon run up to the limousine exploding is when he said it.
No, he said it to Booker T in like 2003.
I thought he said it to Booker T, and it was more like 2005.
I don't know. I mean,
and yet we mark the day every year, but we never looked what year it happened. This is shocking.
We celebrate. We take the day off, but
that's right. Okay, I'm about to Google something and I really regret it. When did
There you go.
Vince McMahon?
And while you're Googling that, I'll ask you this, because the people want to know. Leave of absence for Stephanie McMahon. What do you think about that? What do you think?
Her
Do you
husband,
think that's like,
her husband's heart nearly exploded, and her dad took the opportunity to be like, "Well, he's fired, and his dreams are dead." And it's like, what? Why?
I think
Oh,
that's the
hey,
most
hey,
human-
hey, Dylan, are you ready to suck my fucking dick?
It was 2005.
2005, Survivor Series 2005.
So it was like, oh, this guy's going crazy.
I mean, like, yeah, but that's like
Also, he just wanted to say it.
he just wanted to say it. Like, I guarantee they were like,
you
the
paid
only
money
way
for me to say it.
Yeah, the only way we could get away with this is if later I die in an explosion. He was like, "Well, I was looking forward to blowing this limousine up. So if we want to film it, yeah, but I just do that in every city." Like,
I
imagine
said
if
the N word and my Q rating's gone down. Can we kill someone's family to make up for this?
yeah. Chris, it's time to initiate Operation All the Things That Make Me Happy. I've already said an N-word to someone. Now I want your family to die, and I want to go on the news. No, what? Roddy Piper needs to be on Larry King. Chris, take one for the team.
So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty straight ahead. And it is so funny how wrestling-centric everyone still is. Like, I feel like wrestling has grown up with me, but I feel like some people are still
disagree.
blind to that.
I think portions of wrestling has grown up in the way that comedy has grown up, and that wrestling is just as not fucking insane as it has to be. Like, it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
If this was not now, it would be like Tony Khan there would be no black people in AEW. They'd be like, "Hey, are you going to what happened to Awesome Kong?" And he would just look in the camera and go, "I, Tony Khan, thought she stole something, so I fired them all. Women? Not that specific, or more specific. I don't know, Tony Khan."
See, I don't think I just think none of the guys who he liked, he's just trying to like be ROH from a while ago, and none ROH, because they're obviously Sinclair Broadcasting, never pushed anyone
That's not true.
who was of color at all.
Except for Jay Lethal, who was like perennially
Lethal?
their world champion. And by the way, where's
That's not the
Jay
era he
Lethal
likes.
now?
He's fighting Samoa Joe, and they've introduced, what's the guy's name? Something Singh, who's a literally their Giant Gonzalez. He's a former NBA basketball player that they are training to be a wrestler, so they have Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal being his heavies, which is kind of awkward because it's like Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal aren't really guys you hate.
Yeah, like Jay Lethal is probably the biggest internet wrestler for no other reason than his gimmick for the longest time was just the best YouTube video ever. Him and Ric Flair. Woo, 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 woo.
And his other gimmick of being Me Too'd, but just no one cares.
What? When did that happen?
He was on Speaking Out.
Was he?
Yes.
Here's the thing.
This is the thing about AEW. Sometimes they're like, "Oh wow, that's crazy," but then they're like, "Jay Lethal's free. Fuck Speaking Out, bro."
Yeah. It's like
believe all women except that bitch, bro. Fuck that shit. Ha ha ha. Jay Lethal. We got Jay Lethal. I love that guy. Fucking. He was Samoa Joe's protege.
Was he?
Yeah, that was the original angle. Was Jay Lethal was Samoa Joe's protege when he was like, I think either just transitioning to TNA or his late title run. But anyway, that I think Sagma Singh. I'm gonna look up his name. Apologies, but every wrestling fan, every internet wrestling fan, every AEW wrestling fan hates it because he's a big guy that can't wrestle. But it's like, I don't understand how you put him and obviously also this is another foray into
Satnam Singh. Did you say
Singh? So he's trying. This is another foray into them trying to get into India, which is a huge market that's untapped by professional wrestling. But how much clearer a outline do you need than this dude with MJF replacing Wardlow? He loses to Wardlow. Like, Wardlow can't powerbomb him, but it's the unveiling of Wardlow's new. Wardlow can't powerbomb him. One move. How is he gonna beat this dude?
Oh,
and then,
what a fucking brilliant way to
And
book
he
that,
can
Dylan.
just fucking learn to wrestle by literally,
my God. Yeah,
literally
because also,
standing there.
because,
and then
by the way-
Shawn Spears can lose to MJF.
Exactly.
And then he can kill Shawn Spears. But I mean, Shawn Spears also. No part of me wants to see Shawn
No,
Spears and MJF.
ever.
The white chair during that, like, I didn't think I could be interested in Ty Dillinger, and
I completely
and you've
agree
done
with
it,
you.
Sean. I think you're better than Cody Rhodes. They should sign you back at $9 million a year.
Is that how much Cody got?
I just made up a number.
I bet you it's 2.
I think that he's getting incentives because I think Cody Rhodes is the new Triple H.
Go
in
ahead.
Vince's live, because the whole show is now built around Cody Rhodes, and if I'm honest, it's a really weird thing where when I see Cody Rhodes be the focus of Raw and everything's built around Cody Rhodes. First of all, it's they're clearly finally viewing something as competition, which is making their show better. But the other thing is, it does kind of make me be I guess it does kind of, in my mind, even up the score of the shows a bit, because it's this top AEW star is just running roughshod over WWE now. And it's oh, I guess they're kind of in the same, because AEW will do that too, is that they don't go, oh, nothing happened in WWE. They'll constantly reference WWE storylines and keep that as canon, which I think is pretty cool.
It's very. I like that. I also will say I like the idea that what the precedent Cody Rhodes has sort of said of, you create your own theme music. You're a character, you are traded, and these are 2 teams you play for.
Yes.
I think is such a huge innovation that everyone should pay attention to, because from a marketing perspective, here's the thing that Cody Rhodes has done, and by the way, CM Punk has done as well, is you don't have that moment of the fan. You don't have to tip your hat. The guy's coming out. You don't you can literally do what they did at WrestleMania, which is wrestling has more than one first. And everyone's going, okay, cool. We know exactly, the entrance is the same.
There's no transition. You as that character can move from universe to universe. And
metaverse, Dylan. They're both in metaverses, please.
But I mean, that's a really cool thing.
I should mention.
I would like to pose this question I never heard. When was the last time a wrestling free agent had as much leverage as Cody Rhodes?
Shawn Michaels during the Monday Night Wars.
Probably, right?
I think it's going to be Shawn Michaels. No one talks about this.
Because purely wrestling. I'm talking about not The Rock being I don't need this because I do movies, not Stone Cold.
You're right. No. I took exactly your question. I will say it was Shawn Michaels because, again, this is never talked about. But Shawn Michaels, Shawn Michaels was injured after WrestleMania 14, and the WWE was like, my friend, you are the right guy to be injured right now. You keep talking about wanting to go to WCW with your friends who are in the clique. How much money would you like to just live in San Antonio until we need you to go into an elimination chamber wearing brown and fights Shawn Michaels with a bowl cut?
He's a guy who had an amazing. It's debatable that he was a better wrestler when he was Loose Pants Michaels versus the Heartbreak Kid,
which is insane because it's basically
he was so good, man.
He took 5 years off to do blow and hunt elk, and that somehow healed his back and kept his hair in just long enough for him to fucking put on a show, retire, except for that thing we don't talk about that happened in Saudi Arabia. Oh boy. But yeah, no.
And no, it's true. This is something that medically has been proven, John. If you want to,
Go ahead.
I know your shoulder's hurting you, but if you stop any athletic endeavor for a couple years and just really concentrate all of your time on hating gay people and trying to take a woman's right to choose away, then it will heal your body.
Is that true?
That is what Shawn Michaels did. That's the only way I can think that he healed his body was
he
really concentrated on.
You're missing a key.
He watched Will and Grace, and then he would try and buy up all the Will and Grace DVDs in that San Antonio area.
To throw up on them.
Throw up and break, yes. And then that healed his back.
Wait. Did any part of it help?
And then he pitched a show called Straight Eye for the Straight Guy, and it was just him walking up to guys on the street wearing flannel, being like, that's how you dress, baby. And that was a show that never got off, but it was something that Shawn Michaels pitched.
I want you to know I was literally about to say, is that a show where he walks up to other straight guys and goes, that flannel is also nice?
When'd you see that band? Sick.
Do you
No
like
one
that?
notices stains on pants anyway.
Yeah.
Keep walking.
Here's what I love more than anything. It is because I'll wear a band T-shirt, and it's not the guy that goes sweet shirt, but it's the guy that notices the band T-shirt, and I can see in his eyes going, "I gotta get a band T-shirt."
That's really great. So yeah, Stephanie McMahon on that. I like that answer where it wasn't like, here's what Stephanie's really up to. It's just, yeah, her husband got sick, so she's taking time off.
Her husband got sick. Her husband got sick and also got fucked by her dad. So she's probably like, I'm gonna need a second. I'm gonna need a second there, pops. like, you know what I mean?
I think she's transitioning out of wrestling because I think this was the moment. Has there been a moment in succession like this where Logan really, really fucks all the? He really, really fucks them though.
Well, wait,
I think
wait,
that was
wait.
the end of the last season.
Yeah, okay,
maybe.
I was about to be like, how far into the last season are you? Because I can answer your question.
He does, but anyway,
Yeah.
that's like I think that's like the moment where Stephanie was like,
And by the way, Vince
"Oh
McMahon did
fuck,
it worse.
this is real, dude."
Yeah,
like,
Vince
this
McMahon
is
did
real.
it way more because Vince McMahon, like in Succession, yeah. What's the eldest one? The one who did the Ted
Kendall?
Kennedy, Kendall, old Ted Kennedy boy. He's a little emotionally shattered, but like Triple H nearly died of his heart exploding in his chest because he's taken too many steroids. And Vince McMahon was like, "What? He's not in the office? Okay, quickly make the NXT logo look like it's tie-dye."
Yeah, man. Just like, hey, what was cool 3 years ago? Here's a bunch of fucking poppy colors. But this is the funny thing where I guarantee, like, they just fucking cut Nick Khan in on his stocks or something, and they're like, what? And he's like,
Nick McMahon, that's his name. Nick McMahon. I
Yeah.
love what he's doing for this.
He's
whole,
married to you, Stephanie. That's your wife. You've been together. Nick Khan, was dating China.
I don't understand how this marriage really works, but it's my understanding that he has to fuck you now because I like him more than your husband.
Here's what I honestly think it is. Stephanie did a power play to get a higher position. Shane thought he was going to get the CEO position. Vince kept it. But kind of in that thing of like, you have Triple H. It's a different relationship. This will be a holy trinity of operating this company. Push was getting the shove in terms of what NXT was doing, all of that sort of stuff. There definitely needed to be some sort of shift or change potentially with NXT because it was not generating the type of revenue they needed and was not doing well in direct competition with AEW in the way that Vince McMahon would want. His reaction was not, do you need more resources, Paul? Should we maybe bringing Finn Balor was a good idea? Are there some wrestlers we can debut in NXT that are like a bit more name recognition-y? Can we use some of the, like, there's a bunch of things Vince McMahon could have done. He basically gave them enough rope to hang himself and then used that as an excuse not to do it anymore. Like, it's one of those ones where you're like, player's going to play and Vince McMahon's going to fuck you up.
yeah, and the thing is, from a strictly like non-human perspective, I understand what they did completely because NXT was only really loved in the absence of AEW because we're nothing if not millennials, and everyone wanted to give money to someone other than Vince McMahon more than they wanted to fucking breathe. If you're a wrestling fan,
I agree with you. I would also say that the people that loved NXT were a loud, smaller than everyone realizes group.
mm-hmm.
Everyone acts like it was 11 billion people. It was a fair amount of people.
Yeah, and this is the other thing people lose sight of is like AEW is not doing that much better than TNA did ever.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. It's just because it's also
It's just
that thing of-
better.
yeah, the product is better, so you're not.
I will say this: TV is much less popular now. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's against. There's also the thing is NXT or not. Pardon me, not NXT, but AEW also needs to then incorporate a streaming element. They also incorporate YouTube views in it. They have an amazing YouTube game. As we've said before, the one thing that AEW has got over the WWE, and if I'm the WWE, I'm stealing this, which is why the fuck hasn't the WWE brought Superstars back as a YouTube show? Like, what the fuck are you doing? AEW has to build those brands. The WWE is like, we got them. And again, going to your point about millennials being so much of that audience, if they were like, remember Superstars? You can buy a t-shirt with the old logo, and also you can watch Roman Reigns just super punch a guy named Barry. Yeah.
Not even Roman Reigns. Like, you have to watch who are their fucking mid-carders now? Like Riddle. No, because Riddle's too high up the card. I don't know, man. Finn Balor
Oh,
gets a win. He does the
Sami
double stomp,
Zayn.
9-minute entrance. He double stomps a guy who has 2 knee pads that are in different colors and neither are complementary of each other. Like,
Yeah. Sami Zayn will be doing that corkscrew DDT through the turnbuckle pads like every
oh my
fucking
God.
week.
He is a guy who, like, I think Nakamura got a lot of credit for that match when it's like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are 2 of the greatest wrestlers of all time because they can
Yeah.
do anything you need. Anything you need them.
Here's also the thing that I respect Sami Zayn and Kevin Steen Owens so much for
Yeah.
is that I could tell that they were like, you know who would be both great in AEW? Me and Kevin. You know who's never going to AEW? Me and Kevin. Because guess where we stand out? Where all the guys that we started with aren't. That audience will pop in here. We are a face in the fucking crowd over there. It's so I couldn't believe that Kevin
And they have
Owens
great
resigned.
spots, and also, like, Sami Zayn, keep this in mind. Sami Zayn staying with that company and being as well promoted as he is, in spite of the fact that he refuses to go to Saudi Arabia, which does make up, like, I think a quarter of the profits full stop for that company. Going
Yeah.
to Saudi Arabia and doing those shows. So, and he's not Roman Reigns. He's not a fucking champion. He's just some guy who loses a lot. And the fact that he could do that, stuck to his guns, and came out with his job in the era where they're cutting everybody is something that wrestling fans will never really truly. Sami Zayn's a guy who will say is a great wrestler, and it'll probably be like Tito Santana. People will be like, look back at his career like, oh, fuck, he was really good. But it's over time that you appreciate how good he is. There's not one match. I guess the Nakamura match you could show people, but people love Nakamura so much. They wanted Nakamura to be still in his prime, I think.
What? Oh, what is Sami Zayn's current gimmick? He's a conspiracy theorist. I've really fallen off.
He's a heel.
He's just a heel.
He is a heel, yeah. He kind of looks like Che Guevara a bit. He's just a heel. Like
Hilarious.
Kevin Owens and him are the same guy, where it's like, I'm a heel now. What's your character?
Bad.
You don't like
I'm-
me. I'm annoying.
I'm brusque. I'm the brisk version of what I was before. Fuck you.
Yeah, and there are 2 guys who definitely, when MJF goes to WWE in 2024, like, I'm completely nude. I'm fully erect. Give me that fucking team. Hook it to my veins. Suck me. Fuck me.
Well, Dylan and I have an agreement, which is when MJF debuts on
He's too smart not to switch. by the way. He is too smart not
Of course. When MJF debuts on WWE TV, Dylan and I are going to have full penetrative sex with each other.
He's also like, he's not dumb enough to be like, okay,
No,
people
Jim
know who I
Cornette-
am in AEW. He's going to go to WWE, and people are like, why would he choose the AEW? You have to have a lot of money. There's no amount of money that will make AEW let you transition to being a mainstream star, which WWE can, because people still view wrestling as WWF, not as wrestling. It's not
Yes.
wrestling, it's WWE. It's like UFC and MMA. No one talks about MMA, they talk about UFC. I
Yeah.
saw that UFC card and it's a different thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I saw that UFC card my dad and his brother had in the driveway.
yeah, but like that's how people talk about
I was
wrestling.
at a wedding once, and the bride ended up having a UFC fight with her husband.
Who's that new guy they have? He knows The Rock, right? Roman Reigns. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
weird.
exactly. I heard about this new WWE they got going called AEW. Like, it's literally that. I agree with you completely because basically this is a Jim Cornette point, and it's 100% true, which is MJF is the second coming of Roddy Piper. And it's exactly that, which is what do you think Roddy Piper did to get Hulk Hogan over? It's it's not these exact tricks, but it's literally this. He is the best. Like, I want to see what this heel does. The Ty Dillinger's association with MJF has made people actually like Ty Dillinger, and no one likes Dillinger.
Sorry for your ears there, guys. Sean
I'm
Spears
not
did
sorry.
a lot of fantastic work to get himself back to that point.
I disagree.
Okay.
Here's what he did. He showed up. He talked to Tully Blanchard too long, MJF came from heaven and just went, I need someone to stand behind me who looks like he's a
You
real
will
rat
gain.
fuck.
You will gain a new level of respect for that team when you watch Dark. For FTR has had Will on Dark, one of the greatest careers I've ever seen in my life, and one of the greatest 2-week stories I've ever seen in my life, where 1 week they literally had one of the best matches I've ever seen, which will never be talked about because it was just two random dudes on Dark who all had mismatched gear, and the storyline was that basically everyone in FTR both got injured early in the match, and it was just them doing near falls. And then it was 20 minutes long, just in the middle of Dark, because they knew that would be unexpected. Because they are so smart that they understand everyone does time math. Like, oh, it's the main event. This is going to last 20 minutes. 20 minutes in the middle of Dark, and then they barely beat this team, right? They escaped just by the fucking, skin of their no hair.
Come on!
The next week they come out and beat another team without taking their jackets off in 3 seconds. Because everyone's like, oh, I guess this is their gimmick now. They must just go life and death with these jobbers. And Sean Spears, when he was teaming with Wardlow would kill the guy. Sean Spears tags himself in, this is the best part, does his finishing move as if his finishing move was the thing that beat the jobber. And then slowly pins the jobber while looking into the hard camera with like the fucking forearm across the face, man. It's just like, dude, so good. And MJF is even better than those guys somehow.
Because here's what it is. Is also MJF it's an old character, but we haven't had something like this in a while, which is
I am a dick.
I am a dick from the suburbs is the other. It is yuppie suburb dick. Motherfucker is showing videos of him from the Rosie O'Donnell show being like, I can sing better than you. And you're like, yes, this is how I'm preparing for my match with Wardlow.
And just like loving Burberry, which is amazing because it's like,
also
there's
it's
a
Burberry.
sponsorship coming.
Hang on, it's Burberry, not Burberry. It's not a cereal.
I don't
I
care.
know, but we have a lot of classy listeners. Do you want to get a a telegram from
Burberry?
One of them? It's just it's easy to say Burberry.
No, it's not.
Which one of my friends do you think I was having lunch with, and he went, "Oh my, there's a Burberry over there, and I need to see if they have a certain cut of trench coat." And I was like, "Trench coats have more than one cut?" And he was like, "Obviously."
Here's my trench coats. Uncut.
Yeah. Let me say this also.
It's
by
actually
the way,
interesting about trench coats because if they're uncut, then you feel them better.
Here's the interesting thing about a
In your
trench coat.
pussy and your ass.
Is every time I'm wearing a trench coat, all I ever think is, oh yeah, I should have worn clothes.
That's good stuff.
Thank you.
Whose closer is that?
It's mine. It's my closer.
Every time I'm wearing a trench coat, I
Guys,
think, wow.
Please buy tickets to the Edinburgh Festival. The show is not good. It is all jokes like that. Here's a little preview. Dylan, set me up with an observational topic.
Candy.
I got one about that. Hey, I was just eating a Ho Henry chocolate bar. That doesn't exist in this country. Like reason.
Oh, you said Ho Henry, which is pretty good. Ho
Yeah.
Henry.
That's a Ho named Henry.
John, do you have anything you want to say before this ends?
Yeah, wrestling is fun, and it's nice when you have a long fucking week, culminates in you finding fucking bed bugs in your fucking house, and you can't sleep because all you feel is scratching on your body, and you just watch Dark outside, sat on a lawn on an iPhone. Let me tell you, you want to cry, but you're too busy smiling. This
What was on Dark this week? You know what we
I
should
have
do?
no
We
idea.
should
I
just
got
talk
Dylan.
about Dark.
Can we just talk, guys? The Rest Review Patreon is shifting. We are now a dark. Although if we call them dark reviews,
Also, that's very funny. Also, have you seen Lance Archer on Dark yet? Very good gimmick.
no. Yeah, I've been wondering where he is yet. Like I just typed in AEW Dark and pressed a thing. I honestly don't know.
Anybody who watches Dark, it was really hard to view Lance Archer. Oh yeah, that's who he fought Hangman Page. And it was like, oh, Lance Archer is a heel now. It was very hard because Lance Archer's character on Dark is his theme song comes in. He's dragging an already very badly beaten up jobber, throws him in the ring, does his finisher, theme song on again. It's like, I'm sure it was done somewhere in the territories, but it's such a good idea, and the fact that unfortunately they're applying it to 486-year-old Lance Archer is, I think, a bad idea. But also, Lance Archer's theme song is just screamo for some reason, and we have a screamo theme song too, so whatever. But like,
Thanks for ripping us off. Thank you. Once again,
Yeah.
our influence is known.
but it's just funny. It's like his name is the Murder Hawk Monster. Everybody dies. Feelings
Yeah.
are for everyone. I'm
Yeah.
writing in a journal about what tears are like.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was the greatest impression of screamo I've ever heard.
Thank you.
I just want you to know that my skateboard is. Also, I didn't think that My Chemical Romance was a band that people actually listened to. Like when like people were like the whole Free Britney movement, people were like, those songs changed my life. And I was like, well, I was 14 when Toxic came out too. And I never was like,
Change
this will
my
get me.
dick.
That's what I was building towards. I was like, whoa, is that music video going to be on all the time? And I was like, that's right. And that's cool.
Can we close on this? I watched a documentary on about how social media is fucking shitty, and the guy who was the smart one in it is the dude from Toxic, who does not have any social
course.
media at all. He
Yeah,
just
he's
lives
like
by a lake, and his life's pretty good.
That guy, I like that guy a lot. That guy, like, wasn't he like he was a model for a bit, and now he just hangs out?
If
You know
you're
who
hot
my-
enough, you don't need to do any. You don't.
Do you know-
You can barely participate in society if you're hot.
Let me tell you who the greatest human being in the world is. Tom from MySpace.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know what that guy's doing?
He's probably doing something fucking.
Just taking photos on his property in Northern California.
He did trick. Who bought MySpace when it was like really no one
Rupert
liked
Murdoch bought it for like
so much.
so much, and then Tom was just like, "Ease," and I'm like,
Well, he had the metrics
Yeah.
too. He had to like. There's some. I can't believe that no one figured out like no one uses this. No one likes people
For
like
years.
pictures of themselves way more than they like music.
Yeah. Like, I remember joining MySpace in 2008, and it was already the end.
Yeah, man. Dude, MySpace was sick though. Also, the little weird thing about it, where it's like you're in. I remember there were people who were in like 5 people's top 6s, and I was like, sick. This guy must be fucking cool.
Here's my thing about MySpace. The one thing that was good about it, it was the
There's a lot of
easiest
things that were good.
platform to add your dates on for as a stand-up comedian.
Well, it was made for bands, and then you would also like. I like this
Why
song.
has no one? It literally was. You type in like the first letter of any venue around the world. It's there. And then you'd open it, and it would just be a little calendar. It was the easiest thing to put in your dates. Nothing. Like, and if anyone goes, well, what about Soundkick or Songkick? How about you suck my ass?
It would be dope to just fucking retire, but you know what? We're not retiring. We never fucking do shit. Also, I'm a sick guy. I fucking smoke weed and I fuck ass. Thank you so much for listening, guys.
I do. I fuck weed and smoke ass.
I don't do either of those things, but fucking it's my brand.
You say you don't fuck ass, but I've been in your bedroom. You always keep a lot of lube around.
That's for fucking dry pussies because I am not hot.
I disagree. I've seen the way girls look at you. They're like, "Who is this? Oh my God, he's wearing a
Yeah.
beret and no shirt."
Yeah, girls look at
Excuse
me
me.
'cause I'm fucking on the playground or whatever.
Excuse
Is that
me.
a joke?
Does that man have a bite mark and psoriasis on his face? Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I do. Oh, sorry, my son is currently gouging my eyes out.
I
I'd
gotta
love
tell
to
you this
pay
about-
attention to you, miss, but my son's thumbs are in my eyes, and he could not be happier, so I'm not stopping it.
Let me tell you how cute Dylan's son is. Dylan is he's one of my closest friends and longtime business partner, and his son is a very young human being.
Yeah, that's a weird way to describe. He's a baby.
He's very young. He's a young man. He's a very young man.
That's very funny. He's a young man. How young? Barely alive.
Yeah. Do you know the very beginning of being a man? Like what? Like 18, 19? No, even younger than that. 16? Slightly
Subtract
younger?
all the numbers you just said.
Yeah. So imagine a very old man but smaller.
So continue.
I'm on your son's side.
Hey man, Sometimes you gotta fucking gouge your dad's eyes out and let him know who's boss.
Exactly right.
I do the seeing around here, pops. You bitch.
But that's
Thank
also
you so
very true
much.
because Dylan has been Dylan at every family gathering challenges the oldest man in the room to a physical
Mhm.
altercation. At my wedding, he walked up to my father and he said, "You are on thin ice, old man." And then he noticed an even older man and he went, "You're off the hook." And then he went and headbutted my uncle Walter.
Yeah, Walter. Yeah, fucking knocked Walter out.
That was the perfect, like dismissive, beat up a guy tone I've ever heard you. Yeah. Walter, what was that?
Oh,
they're
he's fucking
fuck
dead
with the-
now.
Yeah. You fucking learned how to fucking suck a dick or whatever. I don't know. Fuck you.
Yeah, learn how to do it, bitch. Probably too dumb to suck a dick. You can get that on our T-shirts. Those are one of our T-shirts. You're too dumb to suck a dick.
Oh God. I
Roe
want.
versus, Roe versus Wade.
No.
At WrestleMania.
Oh my God. Okay. Here's the question.
No. I'm
What
deleting this
wrestling
part.
organization does Roe versus Wade at their big? Are you? I'm gonna say this.
WWE in 2003 does 100% someone.
I'm so surprised CZW didn't have a guy named Wade Rowe who just came out covered in coat hangers and his theme song was just ah.
I'm surprised Kane hasn't publicly spoken out about how he doesn't appreciate the old Lita storyline because that shouldn't have happened.
Oh my God, it would be so funny. This is how good politics is I guarantee we could affect Kane's career being like, he did an abortion on live television.
He's immune to that because I think guys on the right wing, like once Trump got in, it was like, it feels like right wing guys are like, this guy's your Jesus guy. He openly talks about how he wants to fuck his daughter. No, but yeah, but I mean, he's hard as he. Shut up.
You know what I like is that people that listen, be on the right, I don't give a fuck. But even they will just ignore the fact that Trump, like, all the time was like, was my daughter just sitting in that chair? Hazelnut.
I made it, so it's mine.
Say that again.
No, I will not. Thank you very much for your time, guys. We'll be back some other time with another one. End broadcast.